I had always dreamed of escaping the city's relentless pace, and Willow Cottage seemed like the perfect sanctuary. Nestled in the heart of the countryside, it boasted a lush garden brimming with vibrant flowers and ancient trees. The cottage itself was a charming relic, with ivy-clad walls and a thatched roof that whispered of simpler times. It was on my third day there, while exploring the garden, that I stumbled upon the gravestone. Hidden among a bed of wildflowers, it was old and unmarked, its surface weathered by time. Curiosity piqued, I decided to dig around it, hoping to uncover some clue about its origin. As my spade struck the earth, a chill ran down my spine. The air grew heavy, and the once cheerful garden seemed to darken. That night, as I lay in bed, I heard whispers, soft, urgent voices urging me to leave. I dismissed them as the product of an overactive imagination, but sleep did not come easily. The next day, I returned to the gravestone, determined to uncover its secrets. As I dug deeper, the whispers grew louder, more insistent. Ghostly figures began to appear in the garden at night, pale, translucent shapes that drifted among the flowers. They watched me with hollow eyes, their expressions a mix of sorrow and anger. Despite the growing unease, I continued my excavation. I unearthed a small, rusted box buried beside the gravestone. Inside, I found a bundle of letters, their ink faded but still legible. They told a tragic love story, one that had ended in betrayal and death. The letters were written by a woman named Eliza to her lover Thomas. They spoke of stolen moments and secret meetings, of a love that defied the conventions of their time. But the final letter was different. It was a plea for help, written in desperation. Eliza had discovered that Thomas was to be married to another, a wealthy woman chosen by his family. In her anguish, she vowed vengeance, swearing that their love would not be forgotten, even in death. As I read the letters, the whispers grew louder, more frantic. The ghostly figures seemed to multiply, their forms more distinct. One night I saw her, Eliza, her face twisted in sorrow and rage. She stood by the gravestone, her eyes fixed on me. "Leave this place," she whispered, her voice echoing in the still night air. "You do not belong here." But I was determined to uncover the truth. I continued to dig, and with each shovelful of earth, the hauntings grew more intense. Objects in the cottage moved on their own, and cold spots appeared in the warmest rooms. The garden, once a place of beauty, became a realm of shadows and fear. One evening, as I dug by the light of a lantern, I uncovered a second gravestone, smaller and more weathered than the first. It bore a single word: Thomas. The realization hit me like a physical blow. Thomas had been buried here, beside Eliza, their love story ending in death and despair. That night, the hauntings reached a fever pitch. The ghostly figures surrounded the cottage, their whispers a cacophony of sorrow and anger. Eliza appeared at my window, her eyes burning with a fierce light. "Leave," she commanded, her voice a blend of sorrow and fury. "You have uncovered our pain. Now you must go." I knew then that I could not stay. The love story I had uncovered was one of tragedy and vengeance, a tale that had not ended with death. I packed my belongings and left Willow Cottage, the whispers following me until I crossed the threshold. As I drove away, I glanced back at the cottage. The garden seemed to shimmer in the moonlight, the ghostly figures fading into the shadows. I knew that Eliza and Thomas would remain there, their love story playing out in an endless loop of sorrow and rage. Willow Cottage was no longer a sanctuary. It was a place of haunting memories and restless spirits, a reminder that some stories are best left buried.